Welcome back to the podcast, guys, and happy holidays. I cannot believe it's already that time of year. Where does the time go? I don't know. But this is actually one of the best times of year to manifest love, and I'm going to share some reasons why. I think a lot of people feel extra single during the holidays, but this is one of the best times to capitalize on dating because there's so many events, so much going on, so many opportunities to say yes to love. And so we're going to dive into all that and more on today's episode. Stay with me because it's going to be a good one. Hey there, it's your girl Nelly, matchmaker and dating coach. We talk about all things high value dating, how to meet your person, how to find love in today's dumpster fire dating economy, and also how to become a high value single because as I always say, we don't attract what we want in life, we attract what we are. So if that sounds interesting to you, please make sure you follow and subscribe to this podcast, and I can't wait to take you along this journey. Welcome to the High Value Dating Podcast. So today's episode, I want to start off with a little story time. I travel a lot during the holidays. I travel pretty frequently in general. I've actually slowed down more recently just because I have a dog now and I don't like to leave her. But anytime I travel, especially this time of year, I notice this energy comes up and I take on a vacation mindset, a tourist attitude. And what I mean by that is when I'm in a new city, even a city like I was just in Miami not too long ago, where I used to live, I find that I say yes to life a lot more. I go out more. I'm more spontaneous. I am more likely to initiate. And the reason I share that is because I think when we are in our own cities, our hometowns, we don't take on that vacation attitude or that tourist mindset often. We just fall into our routines and the monotony of life. And so I implore you guys to do kind of what I do when I'm on vacation and now even when I live, my day-to-day life. And that's just to be more open, to try new things, even if that means going out by yourself or staying out a little later or trying out that new restaurant on the other side of town. You never know where those opportunities might lead you and who you might meet. This time of year in particular, there's so many events going on and there's so many holiday parties and socializing, and people are just more likely, I think, to come together. And so be the type of person who initiates, call up that old friend, ask them to go get coffee or, go get dinner, or even, if you're invited to a party and you don't have a plus one, don't be afraid to go by yourself. Start saying yes to life. Last year, it was my first kind of holidays spent in Los Angeles because I am still somewhat new to the city. And I started getting invited to parties because I would go to parties and I would make friends and then I'd get invited to more things. And I would go out a lot by myself. And interestingly, I met so many people and I've made so many friends because I put myself out there last year during the holidays. And so I say that because you really never know what connection you can make, and that could lead to something more. And so I challenge you guys this time of year when you feel like staying in and watching Home Alone and cozying up in your own home and being antisocial to actually do the opposite. Actually, do the opposite. Put yourself out there, take chances, take risks, say yes, initiate, because you really never know where that will lead you. And my recent trip to Miami further proved that to me because I was alone in that city. And I love traveling alone, by the way, just because it gives me the flexibility to be on my own schedule. I like traveling with friends too, but I like to be free and not have to feel like I'm on someone else's itinerary all the time. So, anyways, when I was in Miami, I was putting myself out there. I was like, you know what? I don't need a friend to go to Soho House with. I don't need someone to go to this party with. I can just go by myself. And when you do that and you start challenging yourself to be on your own schedule and take initiative in your own life and, not be afraid to do things on your own, you actually start to embody a different level of confidence because you are forced to make friends and talk to people when you're out, right? You don't have the safety net of someone by your side to just sit and chat with in the corner. You have to actually make an effort. And so it's really awesome in that context because then you end up making more friends and you never know, like I keep kind of saying, where that will propel you to. Also, I encourage you guys to be a tourist in your own hometown. Something that I used to love doing when I lived in Toronto this time of year is going to the ice skating rink and putting on some ice skates, even if it was by myself, right? Doing the types of things that you wouldn't typically do in your own city, but you might do somewhere else, right? For example, whenever I go to New York this time of year, I always want to go ice skating at Rockefeller Center. I always want to go see the lights at Saks Fifth Avenue. And, if I'm in Florida, I like to go do the holiday parades and see the lighting of the tree. But then in Los Angeles, I'm like, well, I'm not going to go to Santa Monica and do that. Or I'm not, going to go all the way, schlep myself to the other side of town and see the lights on Rodeo. No, no. That actually is a sign that you should do that. Why? Because it also puts you in a different energetic state. You embrace the holiday cheer. You get into the holiday mood. It is special this time of year. I'm not even a holiday person, and I still think that there's a lot of sparkle and magic to be had and enjoyed. And when you start to do the types of things that you would actually want to do, like if you were a couple with someone, if you were in a relationship, right? And you do that on your own, you're also kind of subconsciously manifesting that because you're basically conveying and communicating to the universe that you don't need a partner to be the best version of yourself. And when you step into that state, that frequency, you put yourself more in alignment with someone who would be a good match for you. And so, really, the point I want to drill in is start putting yourself out there. There's so much going on this time of year, so much fun to be had. Also, though, like if you do have friends, you don't have to do everything by yourself, of course. If you do have friends, be the type of person to call someone up and say, "Hey, let's get together," or let's put on a little holiday gathering. Let's create the magic that we are seeking. I had a friend actually who I was just talking to, and she's American, but she lives overseas. And she was telling me that she had hosted her first Thanksgiving dinner in England. And I thought that was really spectacular because it was a way for her to bring people into her world, strengthen friendships that were somewhat new. And it ended up being a really fun experience. And she would not have had that experience had she not initiated. And then, what do you know? Someone at that event, at the Thanksgiving part dinner that she hosted, invited her to a holiday party. And so it is a domino effect. And what you put out is really what you'll get back. So embrace the holidays because when you step into that frequency of saying yes, and trying new things and being a tourist in your own city and being in that vacation mentality, even if you're not on vacation, you actually end up positioning yourself to meet a lot more people and potentially finding love. I gotta say, historically, I have always had the best dating life during the holidays. Like I always tend to meet people and get, more romantically connected to people this time of year than any other time of year. So personally, I think it's a great time of year. And I think a lot of people are also in that kind of coupley relationship mindset, right? A lot of people want to have that person this time of year. So why not even take more advantage of that, right? A lot of people this time of year also break up and they try to get, in new relationships and all that. So point being, this is actually the time of year to put yourself out there, not to stay in. And we're going to talk about more ways to do that after the break. So stay with me. Thanks for staying with me through the break, guys. So, while we were on break, I couldn't help but think about being at holiday parties and how to really show up as your most magnetic, attractive self. And one of the ways to do that is to put the sparkly dress on, put the tux on, go the extra mile, really embrace the seasonality. Because I personally think that when we put certain outfits on, we actually step into a different type of energy. And if you put on an outfit that you feel really confident in and really festive in, you are going to get more in the holiday spirit. And then people are also going to come up to you and say, "Oh, I love your dress. I love those shoes." And that is a natural conversation starter. Plus, it is exactly this time of year that you should be putting in that extra little effort, right? Summer, okay, fine, put on, the Daisy Dukes and let your hair kind of, air dry. But this time of year, it's fun to look polished. And I actually think that this all ties into being a high value single is looking like a high value single, right? Looking like someone who puts in effort, someone who goes the extra mile. You never know who you can meet in these rooms. I personally get invited to so many holiday functions this time of year by the randomest people, by the way, like people that I, you know, haven't spoken to in a while, clients of mine. My doctor even invited me to a holiday party. Go the extra mile. And put on that great outfit because you want to make sure that you are representing yourself as a high value eligible single when you are in these environments. You also never know who else might be there. So it doesn't hurt. It actually, I think, is a really easy no brainer thing to just remind yourself of this time of year. Also, when you are at these holiday functions, whether it's a Friendsgiving, I know Thanksgiving just passed, or a New Year's Eve party or a Christmas Eve party or whatever it might be, any kind of gathering, make a point to talk to at least three people. I have a personal rule whenever I go out by myself, especially, is I'm going to make a point to speak to three new people, intercept three strangers. Because, first of all, I think it's just a really good growth exercise. And secondly, again, doing that is you taking charge and taking initiative of your life. Take the pressure out of the equation, by the way, when you're doing this, of everything having to have some kind of romantic outcome. I talk to single men every single day, and there's no romantic pressure unless you put that pressure on yourself. So when you are in these rooms and you are in these environments, just approach people from a friendly standpoint, as if you are just wanting to make a connection for the sake of being friendly, not because you are motivated to get a boyfriend or motivated to get a girlfriend, because that actually is desperate energy that's going to just reek and actually repel. And so, one of the ways you can do this is, like, let's say you're at a holiday party, hold up your champagne fluke and cheers someone and say, "Happy New Year. Love that outfit. What are you looking forward to this year? What are your resolutions?" Right? There's so much to talk about. Or if you want to be less invasive, you could just say, "Are you enjoying this party? You need a top up on that glass." There's so many little ways that you can kind of create these micro interactions with people that maybe will lead somewhere and maybe won't. But even if they don't, it's still good practice for you. And the more people you meet, the more likely you are to meet your person. So it really goes a long way when you are in these rooms, if you're going to make the effort to go out, to at least go out and talk to people too, right? Put your best foot forward. And on that note, be curious. This is a great time of year to get to know people on a deeper level. It's also a good time of year to reach out to old friends because you have the excuse of the holidays, right? You can text, that old girlfriend who you haven't spoken to in 6 months and say, "Wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas. What are you doing for the holidays? Let's get together." Right? You can kind of leverage the seasonality to potentially rebuild old connections. Or, and I hate to even bring this up, but how many of us have had an old flame rekindle during the holidays, right? Because an ex comes back and they say happy holidays. That's because a lot of people leverage the holidays to, again, create those interactions. I'm not saying reach out to an ex necessarily, but hey, if there is a person from your past and you're like, "I have wanted to reach out, I've worked on myself, I want to see if this is going anywhere," doesn't hurt to send a happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year text and see where it goes. And if it goes nowhere, then at least it wasn't like you were just reaching out to reach out because you had the holidays at least to kind of mask it all. This time of year is a great time to capitalize on dating opportunities. And I would just emphasize that if you are going into these environments with a present attitude, what I mean by that is you have an attitude of just wanting to live in the moment and not trying to hyperfixate on where everything's going to lead. And, oh, I need to talk to this person. I need to talk to that. No, 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 no. Relax, breathe, be present, live in the moment, take in the experiences, say yes. I was actually last year at a holiday party that I knew nobody at. I went by myself and I got there and I knew immediately I got to get out of here. I just knew instinctively that that was not a place where I was going to enjoy myself. Well, what do you know? I met a couple guys at that party within the first 2 minutes of walking in, and they said, "We're about to head to downtown LA. If you want to come with us, we're going to another holiday event." And I said, "Yeah, actually, I would like to go." Now, I was tired, but I still said yes. Well, get this. I went to that holiday event. I ended up meeting a guy that I ended up dating. Had I not gone, that wouldn't have not happened. Right. And if I'm being totally transparent with you guys, which I always want to do, yeah, that didn't go anywhere. Actually, it did technically lead me to better because every setback is really a setup. And so, had I not met that person and that not gone well, I probably wouldn't be on this podcast right now. Everything kind of has a domino effect. Point being, though, this is a great time of year to say yes to life and to be open and to push yourself a little bit more. There are so many days where I just want to lay in bed and scroll through TikTok because I've had a long day, especially right now, because this is actually my busiest season. And so this is the time of year where I don't really want to go out, but push yourself to go out on a Saturday night, go out on a Monday night and talk to people, ask people questions. Even if it's you sitting by yourself at a steakhouse on a Friday night, talk to the person next to you. Hey, are you from out of town? Are you visiting for the holidays or do you live here? Oh, great. Do you have any New Year's plans? It sounds simple. It's not always easy because it does require us to step into our fears and take chances. I also really think that this isn't the easiest time of year to initiate. You should always, I think, be, open to initiating. But this time of year, especially, is so natural to hit people up, ask them, hey, do you want to go see the lights? Do you want to go, watch the lighting of the tree? Do you want to go ice skating? And live in the moment. Like I said, take the pressure off yourself to have something lead to something else. Just enjoy people's company. Enjoy this time of year because that's actually how you're going to be a lot more energetically open, I think, to love and abundance. After the break, I want to dive into some more tips on how to embrace being single during the holidays and actually put yourself more in alignment with love. So stay with me and we'll dive into all that and more after the break. Thanks for staying with me through that break, guys. So I couldn't help but think about how to handle rejection around the holidays because sometimes you do put yourself out there and it doesn't lead to the outcome that you want, or someone doesn't take the bait. And then you might be left feeling even worse and more discouraged about ever doing that again. I've been there. And here's what I'll tell you. Whenever someone rejects you or doesn't take you up on a holiday outing or any outing for that matter, look at that as a blessing. Look at that as a data point and actually express gratitude to the universe that that happened because that just means you're one step closer to meeting the person you're meant to be with. What is meant for you will not pass you by. And if it's not meant for you and it does pass you by, instead of being upset and disappointed in that, be grateful for it. Really just say thank you. Thank you, universe, for continuing to guide me to what is meant for me. Because when you do that, you actually take back your power and you actually step into even more abundance as opposed to mourning about what could have been with someone. I know it's hard, but you got to practice at it. And I will say, like, I have personally initiated so many times with people with men, and they don't always take the bait. But that's actually, again, that's a great thing. That's a great thing because it means they're not meant for you. And it's not always that they're not meant for you because you're not enough. I would say it's usually because you're too much for them. And that actually is more of a reflection of them than it is of you. Regardless, though, this is the time of year to really strengthen your self concept, master your mindset. And that's why before the break, I was saying, don't go in with so much expectation. If you're going to initiate, go in with the expectation that someone might not take the bait. They might not pick up the handkerchief. And guess what? That's okay. That's totally okay. Have a little patience too. I think a lot of the times, and I said this in the last episode, this time of year with the holidays, it's really easy to feel extra single. It's easy to feel extra lonely. What if we entertained the idea that maybe this is the last holiday that you spent alone? How would you spend it? How would you embrace being single? What if we knew actually that on February 1st or January 1st, you were going to meet the love of your life? Would your mindset change? Would you actually say, hey, if I'm going to potentially meet the love of my life during this holiday season, I am going to definitely wear the best outfit that I can wear. I am definitely going to show up being the most magnetic version of myself. I am going to walk into every room, enter every holiday party with a loving, joyful attitude. If you knew definitively that you were going to meet your person in the short term future, I'm willing to bet you would start showing up for yourself differently on a day to day basis. Entertain that possibility. Because guess what? If you do the opposite and you stay in this mindset of, I'm not going to meet my person, I'm going to be single forever, Hence, the holidays suck. And that is the energy that you are operating in. And you're moving through the holidays with that type of mindset. You're probably going to continue attracting more lack into your life. It doesn't hurt to expect the best case scenario. And like I said, if someone doesn't reciprocate, that's still a great outcome. That's still a great outcome because that's a data point. That's a data point and one step closer to you actually manifesting the life of your dreams and the person of your dreams. Show up for yourself this time of year, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, because the holidays, as lonely as they might feel, I think are actually the best time of year to meet people who are single and ready for love and open to love because we're all looking for that at the end of the day. And so show yourself love, show yourself compassion, put yourself out there, be open, be willing to initiate. And if someone, like I said, doesn't take the bait, then the response is that is great. That's great because it just means that it's not the right time or it's not the right person. Because if we knew, for example, that one person that you initiated with or that you spoke to at a holiday party and you liked rejected you, and the next person after that was your person, you wouldn't care about that person rejecting you because you know that your person's right around the corner. Entertain that possibility, live in that end state. Show up too in your day to day life as the version of you that you would be if you had that dream relationship today. If you were in a relationship with the person of your dreams today, how would you dress? How would you talk? How would you act? How would you socialize? Where would you go? What would you do? Also, a lot of people travel during the holidays. You don't need a significant other to take that trip with. You can go by yourself because you never know. Maybe you'll meet them on that trip. How many people have I met when I've traveled with my girlfriends or by myself? An infinite amount. It's crazy too when you have that attitude of living in the moment. That's the thing I love about vacation is a lot of the times you're just experiencing things in that moment and you don't have the pressure of going to work the next morning and needing to, be a certain place at a certain time, right? You're a lot more free. Channel that energy even if you're not traveling anywhere. Because I bet you if you have that aura and that attitude, you're going to become a lot more radiant and attractive, and you're going to be able to attract a lot more people who are on that frequency too. At the end of the day, you really just want people around you who are positive and uplifting, don't you? So be a positive, uplifting person. Do not let things get you down. Say yes to life. Say yes to holiday parties. Do things by yourself if you have to. Be a tourist in your own city. Have faith that your person is out there. This time of year, especially, I think, is a time to really express gratitude and thanks and also have that optimism because they actually might be right around the corner. And it might literally be the difference between you stepping into abundance or stepping into lack as far as your ability to actually manifest them in quicker. Also, too, this is a great time to romanticize your life a little bit. Treat it like a Hallmark movie. If you're at the airport and you see a cute guy or you see a cute girl, make a point to say hi. Actually, funny enough, my mom and my stepdad met at the airport coming back from a ski trip 20 plus years ago. And my mom said hi to my stepdad at baggage claim. And what do you know? They've been married for over 20 years now. So it's really nice to just have that energy this time of year of being friendly, being outgoing, being the type of person who takes the first step, even if it feels scary. You never know where it could lead. If you knew that talking to that cute guy at the airport might lead to you actually meeting the man of your dreams, wouldn't you do it? You probably would. And also embrace the unknown, right? Like, think about your life like a movie. It's all unfolding and you get to just experience it as it goes. And so you don't have to have every single thing planned out, but showing up for yourself as the best version of yourself in your divine energy is how you're going to actually manifest in that level a lot quicker. I think that's a good place to end off today's episode. I hope you guys liked it, by the way. I think there's a lot of kind of interesting strategies and tips that we touched on, and I hope you guys implement them. If you do implement them, please send me a message on Instagram and just let me know how it worked out for you. Also, if you have any questions or topics that you want me to cover, Feel free to send me an audio note on Instagram. Please keep it short though. And you might be featured in a future podcast episode. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. And by the way, if you're enjoying the podcast and you're listening to it on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you stream podcasts, it would mean a lot to me if you follow the podcast so that you could be notified of future episodes. Also, feel free to send this episode to a friend if you feel like they might need this advice. And I think that's pretty much it. I believe the next episode is going to come out in the new year, 2025. So I'm wishing you all the happiest new year and the happiest holidays. And let's go out with a bang. Let's manifest love. Let's be the type of energy we want to attract in, because you never know where that might lead. And I am sending you guys all the love and abundance today. Okay, bye.
Pioneer.